Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Silent Hill Ascension pre-show. Eduardo here with Noah. You know, we're gonna relax tonight. Noah's gonna run you through our typical run of show, and we're gonna have a nice little discussion on the story tonight. Get through it, have a good time with all of you.
Awesome sauce. So, hello everybody. Welcome back. We're here at our lovely pre-show, which is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. Then the show, a new episode every weekday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and the post-show right after that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Eduardo, take it away.
Sure. So again, for those of you who don't know, aside from the hosted show, which is about wearing as dashing outfits as we can, as many people have pointed out to Noah's fantastic work tonight, Silent Hill Ascension is a socially interactive streaming series where all of you collectively shape and experience its ever-evolving story. You collaborate and compete with others to try to make the choices you want to see occur. We'll talk about the change later. Now, when each decision ends, that choice locks in as canon. That's the version of the show everyone sees. That's canon story shaped by you, the participating audience, every, weekday. Now we're gonna throw up to the setup scene video. Nice, short and sweet. This is where Orson asked Britt to tell him more about his aunt Eva. And yeah, if you haven't watched it, this is a delight to watch, actually. Let's roll.
There you are. Looking for Grandpa's goats? Guess they've been gone a while.
They died.
Guess your grandpa couldn't take care of them.
Is Aunt Ava dead?
The thing you need to understand is that Ava was just a terrible person. A monster.
Am I a monster too?
Oh, Orson. Why would you ask that? Ava had darkness in her. And so do I. And so do you. But she hurt a lot of people. And that was her choice. You can be different, Orson.
Ava hurt people. Grandpa hurt Grandma. Mama told me about it, and I hurt you.
But you didn't mean to, right? Right, Orson?
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you got a lot of you probably saw that scene, and I hope you had a delight in rewatching it, because the thing is, we're going to take a moment to discuss the story so far, and it's important to kind of contextualize where we're going to be on. So, Noah, to me, that scene was really touching. There are a lot of ways that could have gone down, right? The audience chose tell him the truth. And Britt did not mince her words. She didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't use some weird metaphor. She's like, no, Eva was a monster.
Right, and that goes back to what we've discussed previously, that in Norway, it's not so much a high fructose corn syrup when you deliver things. It's more like a subtle, jam, if you will. I saw that Leonardo S5 before mentioned Anakin in regards to Orson, and it totally reminds me of the meme of yeah, but you didn't mean it, right? You didn't enjoy it, right? Right? That was, it said a lot. His silence said a lot, really.
No, and it does, right? But I like that, essentially, Britt acting here, Astrid's a little bit MIA, so to speak, right? She's dealing with her stuff. Let's be honest, Astrid has a lot on her plate. So it's good that, family's there to take care of family. But seeing the truth was interesting, right? Astrid talking about Carl to Orson. Then Britt talking about Eva to Orson. They're like, you know what? We got to air the dirty laundry. Hiding this stuff is doing us no good.
Yeah, the boy is 5. He's about to, be a man. I guess it happens a bit earlier sometimes in Northern Europe. But he's 5. He ought to know about death. But that's a perspective. Let me tell you, Eduardo, if I may share, when I was a wee child, I was introduced to the concept of death. And look, I'm perfectly normal now.
Yes, you are. Now, one of the nice parts here, right, is speaking of Astrid, right? Astrid was discussing with Rachel yesterday. That was one of the key scenes. One line I like, by the way, about yesterday is Astrid is clinging on to rationalism. She's like, everything's like burning some other world. She's in another place, and it's like she's like, there's a reasonable explanation for everything. Just as like some withering monster is moving on in the background. She's like, yeah, there's a reasonable explanation for all of this stuff.
She's a woman of science. We remember how she pathologizes those dead bodies. Is that her job? Anyway, she's a woman of science. She's a woman of rationale. So that makes sense, Eduardo.
No, of course. So, and here's the thing, Noah. Like we've kind of like, I think our audience spotted it yesterday. We're going to talk about an ongoing decision. Now, it is a fake decision, but there's a little bit of a twist.
Okay, so this is a fake decision with a twist. Who will Rachel decide Faith will be safest with? Would it be Eric, herself, or Nora? Now, if I was Rachel, we're gonna get into it, but if I was Rachel, of course it would be myself. Duh, but okay, take it away. Explain this to us, please.
Sure. So we are going to dive into this in the post-show. We'll go through like the whole feature set. For now, in the pre-show and leading into the post-show, what we're going to do, audience, is, yes, it is normal that you don't see what fate outcome comes out of that decision. We'll explain that. You'll basically get that once that decision closes, but not for now. For now, it's kind of guess it, do what you would like to see. There's a lot of options, but we're not going to tell you what's up on this one. Now, the thing here, by the way, and one of the key scenes as well yesterday was that Rachel wants Faith safe, right? Noah, that was one like key. She said, even if it's not myself. That was actually a really key line to me in yesterday's scene. She was super specific about saying, look, I want Faith to be taken care of, even if it's not me. And of course it's not her, because she's not actually there. The other people, Krista and Eric, are taking care of Faith. Nora.
Yeah, well, Rachel is busy kicking ass and taking names. I see Magic Marmot here. Never mind, I don't see it anymore. But I see that Magic Marmot here said very wisely that Rachel is losing faith in herself. So I think that's a astute observation, if I may. But yeah, it's like you said it, Eduardo. She's willing to sacrifice. She doesn't care at this point. She just wants her daughter safe. Which is, I would expect that from Rachel. Honestly, though, I feel like these freaks belong together. Rachel and our daughter, I would want to call her maybe like a spawn now rather than a daughter at this point. Faith, they seem to belong together to me, but I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's gonna make her die, if we're gonna make her happy, because so it's a bit of a mystery here now, which is kind of fun and spicy.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot, because you're right. Faith hasn't been the best child to take care of. I actually like that Nora's, kind of in the mix as well. But again, it's an interesting third party, right? Like there's this kind of idea of well, she could be with her, she could be with me, the mom, she could be with her dad, or she could be with this person who's not dealing with all this nonsense stuff. Well, it's starting to appear. So that's the thing, Noah.
Right. Let's talk about all of this, even though we might not see it always, but it's still there. Decisions, endurance scenes, and puzzles all contribute to whether a character will face redemption, suffering, or damnation in the Silent Hill Ascension final. So their fate is decided across the length of the season, and a character's hope needs to be high enough for them to survive a crucial story moment. So y'all know that, but now you might not know what you're leading to. You know, it's kind of, I like this.
It's kind of like
thrill.
we put some fog in our decisions. There's fog in Norway, there's fog in Pennsylvania, and now there's fog in our app. That's how it works. The fog is everywhere. But
What's
in
the
a way,
fog, huh? What's the
yeah,
fog?
exactly. But to be fair, hope is still very transparent, right? That hasn't changed. No, that's important. Doing the puzzles, the endurance scenes, that functionally hasn't changed. Where we're still transparent on that. Want to raise a character's hope or lower it, same places, same stuff. But yes, fake decisions. We've been steadily on the redemption path, quite obviously. So now this might change things a bit. Like how much is interesting. And again, we'll get into that in the post show because there are some details that, and as they say, the devil's in the details. There are a few details we'll talk about as well because we'll do a dev update segment. So make sure to stick around in the post show if you're interested in that. But for now, we want to see how you like this, right? This aspect of we don't know what's going to happen with the characters. What's right and wrong has been a little bit obfuscated.
Right. So similar to life, right? This is becoming more and more of a social experiment also, which is what is life if not a social experiment? But yeah, we're kind of like, we don't know what we're doing. Like, it might be good, it might be bad. We do know some things. We can control our actions. We can do the puzzles. We can raise hope. We can do all kinds of things. But like, we don't know necessarily if like having faith, Rachel say that faith would be safest with her. What's that gonna lead to? I like it, Eduardo, to be honest.
That's good. And I know there are fans as well in our audience. So, by the way, I did want to answer Harry Mason, who said, I'd love for Genvid to do another run of the season so we can see some alternative paths. That's actually kind of confirmed. Jacob, a few times on interview, has said that we'll have a what if season. So that's essentially, rerunning season 1, but you don't really get access to the option that played out. So a little bit of a different experience for that one. Not more details than that, but yes, that will happen. So yeah. There we go.
Stay tuned. But Eduardo, let's look a bit about our characters. That was not, I think, grammatically correct, but let's still do it.
No, it's it's as grammatically correct as British the character is. So we need to talk about Brit. That's going to be on screen. Production's going to put that up.
Okay.
And, yes.
Let me take y'all through it because this is a character here. So, and I mean that in more ways than one. So. Brit has strong redemption and positive hope, and her top decision so far was how will Brit convince Niels to help her. And we chose, that
sorry. No,
yeah,
I'll jump in. It's okay. Just for like our crew in the back, we usually check this stuff, but sometimes we get it cut. So this is where she apologizes for cutting them out in redemption over feigning romantic interest.
Right, exactly. So, and the most heated decision was what will Brit do with her doppelganger? And y'all chose revive her, which was the redemption, over leave her, which was the suffering option.
Yeah. Most important thing, first I'll apologize to Noah. I do that. That's on me, Noah. I'm so sorry. But to apologize here, I think that's part of Brit's character. Like one of the things, right, that's interesting about like the decisions being hid is the decisions with Brit probably would have been kind of obvious because it was kind of, it's straightforward, but in a way it is refreshingly straightforward.
Right.
The path like she had to take to go towards redemption, but it doesn't mean that the audience in general hasn't liked it because I know that she's a fan favorite and I know everybody wants her to get better. There's a lot of things around So Brit and all of that. So sometimes it is so nice to have somebody you want to root for, you want to see survive. And I think Brit has been kind of that North Star regardless of anything else for our audience.
Yes. And, that's So Brit, as you know. But honestly, you know what? I just realized something. We've been dealing with so much Orson shenanigans and, Eva's, mean spirit maybe laying around in the soul of them still. But I realized that we haven't dealt with drinking or substance abuse in a minute with Brit. She's a bit distracted, which is good, I think. Well, it's not necessarily maybe the best distraction when you don't know what happens, what's happening with your sister, and maybe your nephew is like, you know, using firearms, but you know, she's not been dealing with the demons that are her mother and other demons that are telling her to drink and use lately.
No, you're right. We haven't seen those in a while. Britt has had to fight them again and again and again. And it is nice that she's dealing with kind of down to earth issues, right? Talking to Orson about Eva being a monster. Well, not maybe that typical a situation, but it's not an easy situation, right? As an aunt to talk to a child and go like, look, I got to explain something very complex. How do I do it? And like, it's nice to see her where she kind of is as a result, and how her character has developed really in these past couple of weeks. I'd like to see it. I know some of you in the audience have, and I think you have too, Noah.
Right. I love to see it, and it's awesome that she can show up for her family, really. Because when you're in addiction, some of you know in the audience, you know, you can't really be there for your family in those crucial moments when your child is shooting guns and you're missing in some other world.
Yeah, no, well said. But, you know, it's soon time for the show. We're going to throw back to almost the classic Endura scene. Noah, I'll let you explain it as we usually do. You know, nothing wrong with a grand classic.
No, this is one of my favorite bits, and sometimes in my dreams I scream it. When the endurance scene starts, you will have time to time your inputs to the actions you see on screen to help our character. So collective success means that the character's hope will rise, otherwise it will fall. If a character fails enough endurance scenes, they may not survive future encounters, leading to their permanent death in the story. These endurance scenes are one of the best places to earn large amounts of influence points. And remember, success or failure is a part of a collective story, not an individual judgment. Just kidding, it's not. It's really not.
I like how you're like, no, I'll judge. Yes.
I'll judge you. But
you need like a hammer. We have the fans. You need a little hammer.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But Eduardo, we're very close to the show, so can you recap?
Yes, so big thing here, right? We did it. We talked a ton about the Norway scenes here because it makes sense how Astrid and Britt are kind of dealing with their trauma. Very different. Aurora was saved, but somebody was still taken in Barbara. In the meantime, seeing kind of Britt in that like scene with Orson was a real kind of refreshing check. How do you deal with family? It was a really a kind of a cathartic moment for the Johansson family that had precious few. That said, Pennsylvania, stuff is going a little bit wrong as we're really starting to get into the subjects of collective delusions. In our post-show, that is definitely something we're going to explore. We talked a lot about Norway in our pre-show. In our post-show, expect to hear much more on the Pennsylvania side. As well, you saw the last few days, things are starting to get a little bit mobby, a little bit foggy, a little bit mobby, a little bit at the bar. We're seeing them together. So what we're going to do is after that show today, that's going to start in a minute, and that's Noah and myself will be back for the post show. We're going to break it all down. We're also going to break down the update we made where, well, there's a fake decision, but you can't quite see what's up. So we'll break that then. For now, this was Eduardo. I was here with Noah. We're signing off. We'll see you in just a bit. Take care and enjoy the show.